Let's take a look at your markets, kicking things off with the JSE. Now, local markets are slightly pulling back today, or rather really pulling back today after a mostly positive finish yesterday. This comes as the steady gains in precious metals lost momentum, with both gold and PGMs in the red today. And with that, we are seeing the All Share down close to 1%. The biggest driver of that loss coming through from the Resources 10 complex, down 2.5%. Also in the red is the Industrial 25, losing just over 1%. And trading in the opposite direction is the Financial 15, gaining close to 0.7%. Now let's take a look at what's playing out over in the US. Stocks in the green, stating after Wall Street's first pullback in more than a week in the previous session. This, of course, is on growing bets of rate cuts ahead of inflation data later this week. With that, leading the gains is the Nasdaq, up close to 0.9%, followed by a 0.43% from the S&P 500. Also in the green is the Dow Jones, gaining close to 0.33%. Moving over to what's playing out across the Atlantic. Trade on that front has been mixed as shares struggle to find momentum after a broad sell-off marked the first day of the new month. Trade quite choppy on that front, with the FTSE in the red, losing 0.03%, pretty flat. The CAC 40 down 0.2%. The DAX, however, in the green, gaining close to 0.6%. Now let's take a look at what's playing out on the currency front, kicking things off with the rand. Now, the local unit holding on to gains just a little bit, but we are seeing some weakness coming through when looking at it against all major global currency pairs. Against the dollar, the rand is sitting at 17.14. The pound to the rand is at 22.60, and the euro to the rand trading close to 20. Now let's take a look at your other currency pairs. The euro to the dollar trending slightly strong at 1.15. Also stronger is the pound to the dollar at 1.31. Trending weaker, however, is that dollar yen pen, trading just above 156. We're now joined by Jordan Toy from Legacy Family Wealth. Jordan, thanks so much for your time this evening. Now, maybe let's take a look at what's happening or playing out in local markets. We're seeing a slight pullback there, a pullback in the currency as well. Is this something to be worried about, or are we just seeing some healthy profit taking place?
Yes, so I think it's something that I'm not massively worried about. Some days you have sort of big market moving news, where it's relatively easy to pinpoint what's sort of driving movements on the day. I feel like today is sort of the opposite. We have sort of a combination of different factors on the go. You touched on a couple of them in your intro there, but I think the South African GDP figures were a little bit soft, so that's definitely playing a role in some of those moves locally. As you already mentioned, platinum down pretty significantly, sort of 2% on the day. That's driving the resources complex. And then I think more broadly, or further afield, we've got the market sort of mulling over the Fed decision, or the upcoming Fed decision next week, looking likely that they'll cut, and I think that's still playing into markets. And then we obviously had a bit of a sell-off in crypto markets earlier this week, which I think undeniably spilled over into broader markets.
All right, and we'll carry on that conversation at 6 p.m. where we look at how global markets are performing and the rebound we are starting to see in the cryptocurrencies. That was Jordan Toy from Legacy Family Wealth. Don't miss his detailed market wrap at 6 p.m.